there was a interesting flare-up of the heightening of tensions between Iran and Turkey when Erdogan was there. In I believe this was during the military parade. There is a famous Azerbaijani song. It's a poem, but usually performed as a song, commonly on the streets. It's a very popular folk song. It's the poem is about the fact that uh, these countries that are now known as Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Georgia were used to be part of Iran about 200 years ago. There was a war with the Russian Empire, and the Russian Empire uh, defeated Iran. Uh, I mean, in a significant way, and Iran had to cede all these lands to Russia. And this song is about the fact that uh, it's refers to the river that now separates Iran from Azerbaijan and I believe Armenia, but back in the days used to separate Iran from uh, Russian Empire. It refers to that river Aras or Araz, if I'm not mistaken, in some Azeri pronunciations, and it says that yeah, with iron and stone, they are separating this river. They are separating people who speak the same language, people who are the same, but they're separated by a stone and steel, if I'm not mistaken. Like it's a very sorrowful song about the separation of these lands from their motherland. And Erdogan read that poem. It's not clear how intentional even was this. I don't think he meant to offend Iranians, but Iranians took offense. I'm not even as an Iranian. I'm not clear what did Iranians took offense to. But Zarif, Iranian foreign minister, tweeted that yeah, nobody should threaten anybody's sovereignty, which is very odd because it seems he seemed to have suggested that Turkey was undermining sovereignty of Azerbaijan. But when he was reading the poem, Aliyev was sitting there and shaking his head. So I really don't understand. Uh, but Iranians took offense for some reason, and he made another tweet and he said, "Oh, they called in the Turkish ambassador. Foreign minister had a meeting with the Turkish ambassador, and following that, he tweeted that, yeah, I made it clear that the age of imperialism and taking over lands is over." Which is again, he wasn't even saying that he was. This is a song referring to a sorrowful, how sorrowful it is that these lands are being, you know, separated from their homeland. And then Turkey got upset as well, and they called in the Iranian ambassador to have a meeting with the foreign minister. So, and that's as far as we get in the story. I'm not clear what happened there or why Iranians got upset. I guess maybe they feel like he may have, because this is a like there's one of the points of tension between Iran and Turkey has always been that Turkey, for example, famous poet Rumi, Maulana in Persian or Turkish, but Rumi in English. He's sometimes Turkish authorities describe him as a Turkic poet. He was ethnically Persian and he wrote most of his poetry in Persian. So I mean, he lived in a time. I mean, the government was Turkic, but the population was Persian and Greek. So I don't. It's not really that important to me personally. But maybe like people felt offended because he was sort of maybe implying that these lands belong to Turkey, not Iran, or something. Maybe that's something that made Iranians got they you know they felt offended by, because newspapers also went at him and said he should apologize and don't it's a famous Iranian idiom, don't play with the tail of the lion. They said, refer lion in this case being Iran. um, Very quiet lion recently. So, but it's a lion apparently. But yeah, that was a quite interesting development. But I think, to be honest, Iranian government, especially the current government, really they have been extremely ineffective in foreign policy, and they pretty much stayed out of this war completely. They didn't do anything significant. They tried to do something apparently, but they failed. So I think it was more they were trying to do something to show themselves to the Iranian public that yeah, we are still, we are something. That's that's all that the only rational explanations that comes to my mind. But maybe somebody can explain to us in a better way what was so offensive about the poem, because I'm not quite clear about that. And I did see a couple of videos by interviews with quite famous historians like Mr. Atabaki in BBC. So yeah, he like I couldn't find the proper explanation. So I look forward to if anybody has interesting explanation.